I wasn't supposed to see it. I wasn't even looking for anything. Just grabbed her phone off the charger to check the weather. And the message popped up. Can't wait to feel you again. From someone named A. With a heart emoji. And a photo I couldn't unsee. My fingers went cold. But I didn't say a word. I just locked the screen. Set it back. And stood there. Watching her in the kitchen. Laughing about some video she'd seen. Moving like my world hadn't just cracked open in one blink. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe a mistake. Maybe a prank. But I knew better. Still, I didn't confront her. Not then. Not that night. Not the next day. I needed to know more. So I started collecting. For 9 months. I became quiet. Present. Attentive. The perfect partner. While I watched her cheat. Lie. Smile. Kiss me like she wasn't breaking me with every touch. I saved screenshots. Exported her messages. Logged locations. Tracked timelines. Watched how her excuses evolved. How her stories got shorter. How her phone never left her side. She started dressing nicer for random errands. Wearing perfume to go see her mom. I let it all happen. With a smile. And a silent plan. Every night I lay beside her. Replaying it all. The photos. The late texts. The moment I knew. And the moment I decided. Not to yell. Not to cry. But to burn it all when the time was right. And that time was her birthday. She thought she was planning the night. The dinner. The guests. The celebration. But what she didn't know was that I had a gift too. And it didn't come with a bow. Her birthday was coming up. And she talked about it like it was going to fix everything. Like she hadn't been pulling pieces out of us one by one for almost a year. She wanted a party. Intimate. Close friends. Dinner. Drinks. Nothing big. Just real people, as she called it. I agreed to all of it. Told her I'd handle the planning. Book the place. Send the invites. Make it special. And she smiled like I'd just proven I was still in love. I wasn't. But I was committed. To seeing it through. To giving her exactly what she deserved. The hardest part was pretending not to care. When I saw her texting him in bed beside me. When she left the room to take a call. When she came home from work already showered. The second hardest part was keeping it all quiet. My best friend Mike knew something was off. He asked me once, "You okay, man?" I said, "Yeah, just tired." But I wasn't tired. I was rehearsing. I printed screenshots. Dozens. Some with dates circled. Some with matching outfits from photos she posted. Her and him. Coffee shops. Bars. A hotel lobby. Her in the same dress she wore to dinner with me. 3 nights later with him in the background of another pic. I organized it all. In folders. In order. And then I bought the flash drive. Sleek. Silver. Just enough storage for everything. I labeled it with her name. And underneath. For your memories. I thought about what it would feel like. When she opened it. When she realized the music stopped. When the slideshow began. And every person in the room saw what she'd been hiding. But I didn't imagine it for revenge. I imagined it for silence. For the look on her face. When her lies ran out of space to hide. She wanted the guest list small. But every name she gave me was someone who liked her more than they ever liked me. Her girls. Her work bestie. Her cousin from out of town. Her yoga instructor. Even her old college roommate who once told me I wasn't emotionally developed enough for her. Fine. I said. Let's keep it cozy. I added Mike. Of course. And 2 of our mutual friends. People who'd seen us grow. Who'd cheered when we got engaged. Who'd helped us move into this apartment. They deserved to be there too. To witness it. To know what kind of person she really was. Because if I just disappeared, they'd never believe she did anything wrong. They'd say, "She's so sweet. She always posts about how much she loves him. Look how she smiles in photos." But they never saw what I saw. I booked the restaurant. Private room. Projector. Music. Wine. Everything classy. Nothing dramatic. On the surface. She picked out a dress. Asked me what I thought. I said, "You'll look perfect." And she would. Perfect. Curated. Like she always was. 2 nights before the party, she went to a spa night with the girls. I tracked her phone. She wasn't at any spa. She was parked outside his apartment for 3 hours. I watched the little blue dot stay still, then move, then disappear. When she came home, her hair smelled different. Not like lavender. Like his cologne. I said, "Have fun." She said, "Yeah. Needed that." I kissed her cheek. Then finished finalizing the slides. They weren't just messages and photos anymore. I added videos. Voice notes. Her laughing. Whispering. Making plans. Telling him she'd handle everything on her end. Soon. She said she felt like she was living a double life. And she was right. But soon. There'd only be one version left. The true one. And a room full of people to meet her. Her birthday fell on a Saturday. Warm evening. Golden hour light spilling through our living room. She stood in front of the mirror, turning slowly in her dress. Fixing her hair. Checking the angles. Asking if her lipstick looked too much. It didn't. It looked perfect. Too perfect. I told her she looked amazing. She smiled like I still meant it. In the car, she played her usual playlist. The one she used when she wanted to feel like everything in her life was moving forward. Happy songs with soft bass. Lyrics about growing. Healing. New beginnings. I drove. Hand on the wheel. Eyes on the road. Heart pounding. Not from nerves. From clarity. I wasn't scared. I was finished. When we walked in, the room was already full. Familiar faces. Fake smiles. Hug after hug. Cheek kisses. Presents stacked on the corner table. She was glowing. The center of it all. Toasts. Laughter. Stories about how strong we were as a couple. How in love we looked on social media. And I stood beside her. Playing my part. Smiling. Laughing. Pouring wine. Until it was time. I tapped my glass. Small clang. The room settled. She looked at me. A little tipsy. Eyes warm. Trusting. Completely unprepared. I said, "Thank you all for coming. You've meant so much to us. So I thought this year we'd do something different. A little flashback. A celebration of everything this last year has been." A few people clapped. She tilted her head. Smiled. Probably thought I was being romantic. I walked to the projector. Plugged in the flash drive. Clicked play. The screen lit up. First slide. A selfie of us. Last year. Happy. Real smiles. Second slide. A screenshot. A message from A. "Can't wait to feel you again." The room went silent. Third slide. Her. With him. Outside his building. She froze. I looked at her. She didn't move. Not a twitch. Just blinked once. Twice. Like her body needed to buffer. I kept going. Photo. Text. Location. Audio. Her voice. Laughing. Whispering. Telling him she loved him. Telling him she'd take care of it soon. And in the middle of it all, her birthday cake. Sitting untouched. Melting slowly. Like everything else around her. Someone gasped. Someone else dropped a fork. The silence broke fast. Like a window under pressure. She stood there. Still frozen. then looked around like she didn't recognize the room. Like none of these people were hers anymore. Her best friend was the first to speak. "What the hell is this?" she asked. But not to me. To her. My wife, still mine technically, didn't answer. Just stared at the screen. Like if she looked long enough, it might change. I walked back beside her, took the mic, and said, "This is what she's been doing. For almost a year. This is who she's been. While planning this party. While saying I love you. While telling me she wanted to try for a baby. This." Someone whispered. "Jesus." Someone else said. I knew something was off. Her cousin stormed out. Her yoga friend looked sick. Even Mike, who knew something was coming, looked like he hadn't expected this much. She finally spoke. "It's not what it looks like. The oldest lie in the book." I turned off the screen. Room stayed quiet. Like the air itself didn't want to move. She walked out. Heels hitting the floor sharp. Fast. No words. No goodbye. I let her go. People left slowly. Some gave me pats on the back. Some just nodded. Some avoided eye contact altogether. But one thing was clear. No one saw her the same anymore. I stayed behind to help the staff clean up. Because I'm still that guy. The guy who doesn't burn the building. Just clears the ashes. Mike waited for me outside. Said, "That was insane." I said, "Yeah." He asked, "What now?" And for the first time in almost a year, I said, "I don't know." But I wasn't lost. I was free. She didn't message me that night. Not even a call. I thought maybe she'd try to twist it. Cry. Deflect. Send paragraphs about how I humiliated her. But nothing came. And somehow, that bothered me more. I sat in the apartment alone. Birthday decorations still on the counter. Half-cut cake in the fridge. A gift bag with her name on it. From someone who probably wouldn't speak to her again. I slept on the couch. Lights off. Phone face down. And for the first time in months, I didn't wake up in the middle of the night, checking if she was beside me. Because I knew she wasn't. And wouldn't be again. The message came the next afternoon. 3 dots. No greeting. You really had to do it like that. No apology. No regret. Just blame. Like I took away her image. Like that was the true betrayal. I didn't reply. She sent another one. This time longer. About how things weren't black and white. How she'd been confused. How I'd grown distant. How he was a mistake. But the worst part was how practiced it felt. Like she'd written it in her head weeks ago. A ready-made excuse. Just in case. She said, "We should talk." I said, "About what?" She said, "About everything." I asked, "Do you regret it?" Not what happened, but how it ended. She didn't answer. And in that silence, I finally understood something. She didn't miss me. She missed control. Narrative. The ability to be seen a certain way. She never thought I'd take that from her. I packed a bag. Booked a room for a week. Just to breathe. To not wake up in the apartment that held all her lies. To look at walls that hadn't watched me get played. I brought my laptop. Plugged in the flash drive. Deleted the files. Every single one. Because I didn't need proof anymore. I had peace. And that was louder. She asked to meet. Face to face. Just once. She said she needed closure. But I could hear it in her voice. It wasn't about closure. It was about control. I agreed. Not because I needed anything from her. But because part of me wanted to see what version of herself she'd bring to the table. We met at a neutral place. A coffee shop we used to go to before things got bad. Before the lies. Before I started keeping track. She was early. Already sitting. Already rehearsed. She stood up to hug me. I shook my head. She sat back down slowly. Like she didn't expect that answer. She started talking fast. Too fast. About how things spiraled. About how lonely she'd been. About how it started as nothing, but became something she didn't know how to stop. She cried. But it felt like theater. I'd seen her cry before. This wasn't the same. I let her talk. I watched her dig for sympathy. For something soft in me to grab onto. But I'd already buried that part. When she finally paused, she asked, "Don't you have anything to say?" I said, "You broke something I never thought you'd touch." She looked confused. Not defensive. Genuinely confused. As if she didn't know what that meant. I said, "It's not about him. It's not about the sex. It's about how easy it was for you to look me in the eye. And lie." She said, "I thought you didn't notice." And that hit harder than anything else. Because, even in the end, she didn't regret the lie. She regretted that I caught it. We sat in silence. Until she said, "So that's it." I nodded. She reached into her bag. Pulled out a small box. Said, "I bought this for your birthday. Before all of this." I didn't take it. Just said, "We're past gifts now." She left it on the table. And walked out. I sat there. With the box. With the silence. With the ghost of the life I thought we had. But I didn't open it. Because there was nothing she could give me now. That didn't already come with a receipt. I left the box on the table. Stood up. Walked out. Never looked back. I didn't need to know what was inside. Whatever it was. It couldn't undo the last year. Couldn't rewrite the messages. Couldn't unsend the lies. Couldn't silence her voice whispering to someone else while I slept beside her. The worst part of betrayal isn't the act. It's the feeling you weren't even worth a second thought while it happened. I went home. For the last time. The apartment still smelled like her perfume. Vanilla and fake sweetness. I opened the windows. Let the cold in. Sat on the couch where we used to watch movies. Where she once cried when we saw a film about a breakup. Said she'd never hurt me like that. And maybe she believed it then. But feelings are cheap when there's no consequence. I packed up my things. Not all. Just the parts of me that still felt like mine. My books. My hoodie. The mug she never used. I left her ring in the drawer. Didn't want it. Didn't want to sell it. Didn't even want to touch it. I messaged the landlord. Said she could stay. I wouldn't fight her for the place. Let her keep the kitchen she barely cooked in. The couch she used to lie on while texting him. I started over quietly. No big announcement. No post. No new haircut. Just a man who'd seen enough. And finally chose peace over pride. Weeks passed. No contact. No late-night apologies. No angry texts. Just silence. And for once, that silence wasn't empty. It was clean. One day Mike asked me, "Do you ever miss her?" I said, "No. I miss who I thought she was. And that isn't the same thing." The end.